Welcome back to another episode of Viewer Discretion. Today, we are recapping a show that is at the Venn diagram of David Dennis Jr. and my very strange yet weirdly similar taste in television. Yes. This is a show that talks about reality TV. It's a show that also talks about science fiction / horror, because we are going to talk about Alien Earth, the new FX show from Noah Hawley. I guess the genre is sci-fi horror.
Yes.
Technically, because I love like hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
Which is different from this. There actually aren't that many shows that really are at this particular, like Stranger Things, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe The Last of Us is not. Last of Us isn't about aliens, but David, like it's a pretty unique genre.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique genre. And yeah, because when I watched the show, I was reminded of the horrorness of Alien. Like it's something. It's not Star Wars, where you just have sci-fi. Like the horror is part of it. And yeah, we have our unique, sort of blend. But they're not too dissimilar because the spores enter our chest, much like Nicolandria did enter our hearts. So it's kind of the same.
In some ways, Love Island season 7 was horror, I would argue. So I think actually that's fair. Yeah. So before we get started, we're going to
make a joke about Huda planting herself on your face, but
she really does have a kissing style similar to a face hugger.
Yes,
which is one of the genres of Alien in this. So for those who don't know, this is a spin-off is the right way to call it, I think, of the Alien movie franchise. David, I don't know what your relationship, we actually haven't talked about your relationship with those movies, which have many spin-offs.
Yes.
After the first, some would say 2 out of 3, say 3, very wide range in quality. Yeah. There's also video games, all of that. For me, when I think Alien and Aliens. I think 1 and 2, Ridley Scott, James Cameron, that is canon. Yeah. Those are 2 incredible movies. How do you feel about the franchise?
So I, when I first got like my new DVD player, like fresh out of grad school, like Alien, like was like they had like a box set on Amazon for like $20, and I watched them and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then, I let a lot of the Alien stuff pass. But last year, Jonathan Hickman, who was a comic book writer, who was one of my favorite comic book writers, probably the best in the game in the last 10 or 15 years, Marvel put like him to do Alien versus Avengers a few months ago, which I imagine, since it's Marvel, was like for people like me to get us into the Alien stuff, as it was going to be doing this Hulu sort of takeover. So like to get us, and it was an unhinged, incredible masterpiece of like alien lore. It's like in the future, and there's like old Tony Stark and like old Black Panther, and they're fighting the aliens, and it's in like great comic book stuff. So that got me sort of back into like, what's up with the alien? Like, what have I missed? What's the lore? So I saw Alien Romulus a couple months ago on a plane, which was really good. And I started looking into, like, I'd seen Prometheus, but I don't remember much of it. And so I just kind of was getting back into the lore sort of just in time for the show.
I'm going to revisit the lore at the end. Episode 3, there's a decision that Noah Hawley makes that really flies in the face of some of the later Prometheus in particular Alien movies. We're going to talk about him as a filmmaker. He's very clearly inspired by both Ridley Scott and I would say Blade Runner as well, as there's a huge aspect of this. A little bit of James Cameron. There's a lot of interesting references and paying homage to different, I think, genres in this, which I guess I should start by saying, like, I really enjoyed these first 3 episodes.
Yes.
They're a ride.
Yeah.
It is. He explores some ideas that are different, same and different from the Aliens franchise, and particularly the first 2 movies. He lays this out right a bit. So I'm just going to we're going to go through some of the major points and talk about some of the major themes and questions that arise. So at the very beginning, episode 1, Neverland, he tells you that he does the, George Lucas wall text, a little exposition. In the not too distant future, there are 3 types of beings, entities, I guess, that are sort of reflect man's search for immortality. We've got cyborgs, who are kind of combo humans, robots. There's one very prominent cyborg character who, spoiler alert, I think might run away with this entire series.
Yes.
We haven't talked about it. That dude, I think, is just has the potential, Morrow I'm talking about, to go down as one of the all-time television characters. I
Yes.
can't wait to talk about him. And then we have synths, who are, as they sound like, just synthetic humans. And then there's this new thing, hybrids, which
Mhm.
are synths with human memories.
Yeah.
And that is sort of the most important thing. So
Mhm.
put a pin in that. We're on the Maginot, which is a reference to the Maginot Line, the last line of defense against the Nazis. And it's a Weyland-Yutani ship. That's the corporate. Oh, he
Mhm.
also mentions there's 5 corporations. So
Yeah.
far, we've only seen 2 of them. So it's on the ship. We see. So this was a little bit of a fake out for me
Yes.
because,
Yes.
because we wake up, we see these humans. Again, this is all the first scene, the first sequence with the Weyland-Yutani ship bringing back the specimens that
Mhm.
kicks off the whole. This felt super aliens.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is very much of the original movies. I was a little faked out because the actors, like, they kind of started fleshing them out a little
Yeah.
bit. And
Yeah.
there's a female actress who is in Fargo, who's a big character in
Okay.
Fargo, latest season of Fargo, which Noah Hawley also made.
Mm.
So I'm watching this thinking, like, oh, these must be all
Yeah.
main characters.
Yeah.
Nope.
I felt the same way, especially the woman from Severance, the terrible doctor
Yeah.
from Severance, who like drove me crazy there, who's doing like lobotomies in the basement. So I thought, yeah, I was with you. I thought this was the cast of the show. Let's get to know these people, and they last 5 minutes into the series.
Again, the homage, this is, he does a lot of, like, he does a kind of flash forward thing
Yeah.
where he's in the ship and you're seeing the aliens violence as they run through the ship,
Mm.
killing people. Basically, again, it's very similar to the Ridley Scott Alien. Yeah, so we see that they're collecting specimens. We know that they've been cryo-frozen, similar to
Yeah.
the original series. And then one of the xenomorphs, gets out, starts killing everyone, and it ends with a fantastic sequence, I thought, where
Yeah.
the aforementioned cyborg, who we
Mm.
learned very early on is a cyborg, so they don't
Yeah.
hide it.
Mm.
Babu Sise is the actor, his name's Morrow, basically locks himself in the hull and
Mhm.
locks out the woman who I was talking about, Zavari, and just lets her die,
Yeah.
and then locks himself in.
And he's reporting to somebody. Like he's like,
Mother, yeah, he's
yeah,
talking
mother.
to,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're, yeah.
That's the setup, and I
Yeah.
thought this whole thing was great. And then we get to Neverland, and this is the real series here.
Yeah.
This is the meat and potatoes, where we learn there are sort of the process of creating the hybrids leads us to our main character, Wendy,
Mhm.
who's played by Kyle Chandler's daughter,
Oh,
Sydney
okay.
Chandler, Coach
Okay.
Taylor's
Coach
daughter,
Sailors.
which is weird for me. So we see her as like a little young sick girl
Mm.
with Timothy Oliphant, who's fantastic
Yeah.
as a synth Kirsch with blonde eyebrows, and
Mhm.
we see her transition into becoming. They really spell out the process. We're taking
Yeah.
sick kids. We've got this boy Cavalier,
Mhm.
who is sort of this Elon Musk meets Zuckerberg meets,
Yeah.
I don't know what it like. So okay, so I want to put a pin in here. So
Yeah.
and then it's Neverland. He's on an island. They make more kid
And
synths.
he's a trillionaire, and we know that the companies
Yeah,
control different, basically, continents, right? So he's in control of, I think, North America and some parts of Asia, I think, things
they're
like
in
that.
like Thailand, New
Yeah, yeah,
Siam.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to get your thoughts on this. So this is the premise. This
Mhm.
is what this series is like ostensibly about, which is, what if we could take sick children
Yeah,
and give them a new life, question mark,
yeah.
because I think they're interrogating that. Did you enjoy this, the setup, the Neverland, the Lost Boys? They all have the names. I mean,
Mm.
the Peter Pan stuff is like
Yeah.
hammering you over the
Yeah,
head with it. I mean, they
yeah,
named the girl Wendy.
yeah.
How did you feel about all of this in the setup part?
I mean, I was so locked, especially because they, like you said, they slow it down so much. Like it's such a fast-paced beginning, and they slow down to explain it to us. And it really gets me, like when I watch Alien, it gets me into like these things that are like, that the kind of, like you think something so deeply, it like kind of makes you a little nauseated a little bit. So it like makes me
Yeah,
think about mortality in a lot of different ways. And I think part of it is because of like when it happens, like this all happens soon after we're all going to be dead, right? Like very, like so soon after we're dead that we're kind of can touch it, right? Because this is like, I think 21
yeah. It's,
something, like,
yes, not that
so
far away.
right, not that far away. We'll be like, Lord willing, like freshly dead people at the time. And we're sort of like faced, like when I watch sci-fi, I am faced with my own mortality, right? Because I'm thinking about the fact that I won't be around for any of these things that we're seeing. and it kind of weirds me out. And as parents, like when you think about your mortality a lot. Like I think about my, when you have kids or when you
Yeah.
are about to, do things that are going to last your lifetime, like get married or, when you're thinking about your children, you think about legacy, like mortality is always on your brain. And so when I'm watching Alien and I'm thinking about the fact that like this will happen soon after I am dead, and these people are also playing with immortality. Like the businesses, the corporations, basically what they're like the premise of Alien is them finding immortality, right? So it all of that slow down pace, the timeline, all of that really just got me into a place of just like really thinking about mortality, and that's kind of
Yeah.
what so much of the show is about.
I think the premise too, what they came up with as a way to explore this
Mm,
idea of immortality is really interesting because Alien, the franchise, and this show are about corporate greed to a
yeah.
large extent,
Yes.
and the way that it makes it induces people to make bad, evil, let's call
Mm,
it, decisions, and also the way it like mucks up like whose intentions are what. The
mm,
original series, you never know who's like on the side of the
yeah.
corporation. It's constantly, and I think that's something they're playing with here. But I think what this show did that was really interesting with this decision to go with the kids,
Mm,
which I've seen some mixed reactions to that choice, is it
interesting. Okay.
makes it yeah, it makes it sort of defensible,
Mhm.
which is makes it more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like I think you would agree. I know everybody. I know I'm not doing that as a father, as a mother of a daughter, son, but
Mm,
I can't handle sick kid stuff. I have a
yeah,
young
yeah, yeah.
child. It's really hard to see. So the idea of like, okay, we're doing immortality here,
Mm,
but we're saving sick
yeah,
kids. It makes it a little bit more complex, and it
yeah.
makes it complex for everyone involved because the kids all will get to this all have mixed feelings about it once this show is kind of exploring them kind of realizing the
Mm,
ramifications of the bargain that they've made. There's a conversation that's really interesting between the boy genius, by the way, great performance by him as
yes.
like a real creep
Holding the iPad with his
with
feet
his feet.
is the freakiest thing.
Well, he's much like these children, like
Yeah.
a young he acts like a boy. The conversation between him and the human adult woman, Sylvia, who's like kind of like his second in command, Dame Sylvia.
Mm,
They talk about like why they're doing it, and they mention that they are improving humans to fight
mm,
artificial intelligence, which is really
yeah.
another interesting idea of like a case for immortality and for all of this. And then she kind of comes at it from the more capitalist angle, which is no, consumers want to be immortal. Like
Yeah,
this, we're a
yeah,
business. This is a business. And he says it's not about money. I just want to find someone who's smarter than me to talk to.
yeah,
Great scene.
yeah.
Great bit of characterization there. But I do think, like, again, to go back to the central conceit, let's take sick kids, let's make them immortal. It complicates what we're
Mm.
talking about, which is this idea of immortality, I think, in a really compelling way.
Yeah, so I kinda saw it as, like, taking vulnerable people and who are going to be part of this experiment. Like, it is that capitalist element, and, like, we saw her dad gave her away and made the whole family believe that she was dead because 'cause you're
Yeah.
taking somebody who are at their last, bit, like their last straw, the chance to save their child, and this is what they're doing. It makes it really compelling because as a parent, like, what do you do? Like, what are you gonna do for your kid
Yeah.
besides,
Say
you give them a
yes.
chance to but say yes, and you're sort of prying on vulnerable people, but also maybe kind of saving their life like that. I mean, that's sort of what this all is, and we know that there's like he's a trillionaire, there's capitalism to it, and you're kind of searching for some sort of heart here in him in the same way that you're searching for heart in these artificial beings, and you're just not sure if there's one there.
That's, I think, going to be what there's the ethics of immortality, which I think we agree are complicated by
Yeah.
this decision that they force
Mm.
upon parents, really,
Yeah.
because the kids aren't making the choice. And then there's the question that I think is going to dominate the series, the question that Morrow poses:
Mhm.
when is a machine not a machine?
Yeah.
Is, I mean, we can talk about him in a second.
Mhm.
He has the worst parts of humanity. He remembers his old life. He's
Yeah.
a human who's been given machine attributes. These synths are different, the
Mm.
hybrids. Like
Yeah.
they're they're still themselves,
Mm.
but they're not themselves.
Yeah.
And it's I don't think there's certainly at this point in the series, there's no answer for what they are and what
Yeah.
it all means. But I think the main character, Wendy, her humanity, the connection to her brother,
Mhm.
driving so much of these first few episodes is already sort of giving you a little bit of an answer, I think.
Yeah, and also, shout out, the acting is so like, the
Yeah.
way that they play little kids and grown-up
I
bodies
wanna talk to you
is
about that,
so
yeah.
incredible.
Did you like these
It's so
parts?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, they're just, like just the way they move their bodies, and they're just, like,
Yeah.
touching and, like, just kinda, like it's just so incredible, the acting jobs by all these and I was really I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I was really surprised and that episode 3 slows down and gives all of them so much characterization, and all of them like have something like a storyline
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
Yeah, episode 3 is really where there's so much action,
Mhm.
we'll talk about in a second, in episodes 1 and particularly 2, and then 3 is kind of like the cleanup, and then
Yeah,
you get a sense of, especially with the kids, the Lost
yeah.
Boys. The thing about them being kids, like, there's a scene where the 2 boys, Smee and Slightly, unite because 'cause
Mhm.
they're all kinda separated and
Yeah.
uniting and stuff in the first 2 episodes, and one says, "You said," and the other one goes, "You said," it was funny, like, I
Yeah,
laughed.
yeah,
When Kurt shows up to save them from Morrow, they get the way they get behind
yeah.
him, it is really there I do wonder if, like, it persists for too long, it might be a little cloying to
Yeah.
people, but it is very funny to watch. And then there is one of them, Curly, the
Mhm.
girl who has the scene with, Boy Cavalier where
Yeah,
she basically says, "I'm smarter than them, I learned
yeah,
French," and he sort of creepily, semi comes on to her. We'll see how that goes. She seems to be, like, advancing farther than them, but the
yeah.
rest of them are all very much children.
Yeah, and it adds even a creepier element to learn that you're spying on everything that like you can
Yeah,
spy through their eyes, which is something that I think we have to put it that we're going to see later in the series. But the idea that you're spying on these kids at everything that they do and recording everything they do is very creepy.
yeah. They I actually was kind of surprised that, they found that out immediately.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is another so again, another thing I think Noah Hawley, though, that I like that he does is a lot of lesser shows would drag out certain reveals.
mm,
Like Wendy and Hermit realize they're brother and sister in episode
immediately
2.
because
I love that.
yeah, right,
Is
because
that I really like, I expected that to be like, "Oh, they don't know the whole
right, yeah,
show. Maybe he falls in love with her and doesn't know she's a child." And he's like, "Nope."
yeah.
Slightly just tells him, "That's your sister."
Right.
I love that scene.
It was
I
such a
love
cool scene. Again, great act. Like it's what a kid would do. It's what a kid
Yeah.
and all,
Yes.
like a lot of
True.
times, one of my like the things that I kind of hate the most about shows a lot of times is when you have adults writing kids, and the kids don't feel like kids
Yeah.
because an adult is writing like
Yeah.
like the whole Juno thing. Like that was the thing that bugged me about Juno. Like she speaks like a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
But it's like so often you're missing that. But there you have kids who for the most part are just acting like kids, and that's exactly what a kid would do. Would spill the beans immediately and just say, "Oh, whatever," and then just go and do whatever else kids do.
I wanna talk to you about all the action
Yeah.
and the fights and the horror because it again, sort of the beginning of episode 1, but
Mhm.
then the crash sets off a chain of events that is the, plot of this show.
Mhm.
But, episode 2, there's a lot we get a lot that's another thing I think that was a little surprising. We get so much of the Xenomorph so
Mhm.
early.
Yeah.
I think, like, in the movies, they dragged it out a little bit more like, there's not there's suspense in the moments and the way
Mm.
he fights and the way they hide him on screen and use shadows
Yeah.
but he did I don't know, I call him a he, who knows? She. It's straight from the jump. So the ship crashes, we get a little hermit backstory, her brother, Joe.
Mhm.
We know that he's a medic. He's just like a sweet, normal human, it seems, who makes some very stupid decisions, by the
Yes. Yes.
way. She has been spying on him. We talked about that. She's been
Mm.
kind of like hacking their network to, in fact, use technology at one point to communicate with him in a
Mhm.
flashback scene that did get a little bit derided because of the use of not Frozen, Ice
Ice Age.
Age
Ice Age.
cartoons on
Yes.
camera.
I saw the internet nerds being mad that Ice Age was on there. Like,
They're
whatever. Yeah.
kids.
They're kids.
But
You're right. Yeah.
it's also like 2 seconds, relax.
Yeah.
Okay, so she marches into Boy Cavalier's office and says that we wanna go save them, and
Mm.
because he's total chaos, he says, "Let's do it. Let's see it. Let's see," and everyone around him is really upset because each of these prototypes are like
Right.
$1 billion. The action, some of the major sequences the original rescuers go in. We see 2 soldiers who are chained up by Morrow, and then a new alien.
Mhm.
I don't know if this has a name, but the eye
Yes.
exploder,
Yeah.
horrifying things. This one I think is especially the xenomorph. I actually found the eye alien to be grosser than the xenomorph because it felt more
Yeah.
like a real bug that would
Yes.
exist on Earth. And every scene with this, I was just like, oh, like when it was crawling into their helmets
Yeah.
and getting into their brains and exploding their eyes. Nasty,
Yeah.
nasty. Meanwhile, the main xenomorph alien chases Hermit around, and while Wendy and her fellow Lost Boys are still on their way. So we get some scenes where he's like Hermit, and I think Siberian is the name of the female
Mm.
soldier he's with. Well, they're split up, but he is going around this apartment building. He stumbles across this like ultra 1%y Marin
Yeah.
Antoinette-ish party. We get, which is very kind of like Hunger Gamesy. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, this is the near future. The alien arrives and just wrecks. I
A little gratifying. Just
But it is a little gratifying. I do think that if I had to criticize some of the fight stuff, first of all, none of the decisions that Hermit makes make any
Yeah.
sense. But
Yeah.
like the decisions were when he decides to go into building, like
Mhm.
why would he go into the party hearing
Yes.
that? Why would he not run
Yeah.
after seeing that? It is funny to me that they have the alien killing like 20 people in like 5 seconds. But
Yeah.
then when she sees Hermit, plays it
Takes
real
it time.
nice and
Right.
slow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But Morrow shows up and neutralizes the alien, then
Mm.
neutralizes Hermit, tries to leave with the alien. Other soldiers arrive. He says, this is an interesting, I actually want to get your take on this. So he tells them, you're going to regret this when they try to
Mm.
separate him from the alien because he's neutralized it. Alien's like wrapped up in a little bag. He says the alien can sense fear, which is
Mhm.
interesting. They immediately get wrecked by the alien. And then the alien leaves him alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to,
We
what do you think's going on there?
Well, first, glad to see Morrow getting away after being you know, accosted by police for no reason. But no, I think we do know the alien. We know the alien, the xenomorph has like some strategic characteristics here.
Yes,
Like we
yes,
know that
yes.
there's avoidance of Morrow for some reason. We do know that he has used the brother as a trap for another reason,
Yes.
and there's some reason, like there's some connection that is going on here with him and the sister, and with Wendy, and so there's something there. Like Morrow's, you're right. Morrow's become such a fascinating person, and his understanding of the xenomorph is really fascinating. There's something there with avoiding
So
him.
yeah, so okay. You bring up two things that the alien makes two decisions
Yeah,
that sort of lead us early on to realize, like you said, there's some intention, there's some
yeah,
strategy. This is not an indiscriminate killer.
yes,
We know that Morrow works for Weyland Yutani. It's in
mhm,
fact all he cares about at this point. He's just
yes,
capturing these things because he has no family or friends left. And so we know that he is not trying to kill the alien.
mm,
Perhaps the alien understands that to some degree. And then, as you said, after that scene, the alien traps the brother, uses the brother as bait,
yeah,
which actually, now that I say it, maybe that's why. No, I don't think I think the alien was going to kill the brother in the first scene. But the alien at some point
yeah,
realizes that the
yeah,
brother, the Wendy, is drawn to the brother.
mm,
He puts the brother in like a trailer and kind of like glues him up.
yeah,
It glues him up. There's so much goo in this
yeah,
show. Wendy shows up, and instead of the alien has a moment where he walks by
mm,
again. Instead of just going in there and killing
yeah,
him, he shakes it around.
yeah,
He or she shakes it around. I guess she, because they lay eggs. I don't know.
yeah,
And the alien and then Hermit escapes.
yeah,
Great bit of storytelling. The
mm,
door closes. We don't see what happens. We
yeah,
hear the fighting. Wendy decapitates the alien. Wendy herself is majorly injured in this fight. White goo, which is
mm,
their synth blood, is flowing everywhere. And then you mentioned this later on, episode 3. We realize that Wendy, who heard there's some kind of psychic connection between
yeah,
her and the alien. We get a flash of that in the first episode. It becomes very palpable at the end of the third episode. So yes, something's going on. I
mm,
think that they didn't show us the fight,
yeah,
David, because I think the alien also did not wanna kill Wendy.
Yes, yes. There is some reason why the alien is keeping Wendy alive. And I can't, like, I don't even have a good theory for that. Like, it's really, I think that's really the sign of an intriguing show. Like, I have no clue why the alien want to keep her alive, or why we use the brother as bait to get her. If you're just going
Yeah.
to keep her, like, what are you bringing her for? Like, what would he be bringing to? Maybe he does just want to morph with her, or, like, impregnate her, or, like, and create something new. I don't know, but there is a reason. And that, you're right. That was a great story. Like, that scene was incredible. Just her getting in there. I screamed when she got in the when the door closed and we see her decapitate, because I don't think she could just straight up decapitate a
I
xenomorph
don't think
alive.
so
Yeah.
either. The, synths are super fast, they're
Mm.
strong, they're super intelligent, but they are still children. They don't know
Yeah.
how to
Yeah.
fight, it
Yeah.
seems. I mean, they were terrified of the alien outside of her. One thing about the Morrow thing, I just while we're kind of speculating, it did seem like the alien was trying to kill him in the beginning,
In the beginning, yeah,
in
yeah,
the very beginning sequence.
yeah,
Like, when he hides
yeah,
from the alien, and he is scared
yeah,
of the alien. So, at the very minimum, he doesn't think he's in cahoots
yeah,
with. So, I bring this is again, if you watch the movies, basically a very strong theme throughout all of it is we don't know as viewers who is actually working to bring these aliens to Earth for profit. If I
yes,
had to like do one of those like a
yeah,
one sentence summary, that's it. So Morrow
mhm,
doesn't know. He
yeah,
is afraid of the alien, but I think it is possible after watching some of the behavior and some of the actions that the alien maybe
mhm,
has more information
yeah,
about these two people than we as viewers do and than they do.
yeah. I mean, and it may be just an alien relationship to, like, synthetic humans, or like or like an interest in non-human things, or they sense something different in non-humans, whether they're cyborgs or synthetics or whatever that they're trying to get to. Maybe that's part of the, because what we do know about this is that for those who do not know, this takes place 2 years before Alien, right? So we know they went off on this voyage 65 years prior, before Prometheus, before all of that, and then they come back 2 years before Alien. So what we had thought in Alien was that they stumbled on these things, but now we're adding some intentionality to the Alien movie that we may not know
That's a
had
good
known
point.
before,
Yeah.
because of the fact that now we know that they know the xenomorphs exist.
Yeah, the, head of Weyland Yutani, Miss Yutani, is we see her she talks to Morrow at one point, she just tries to get him to come back, and then we see her and Cavalier talk you talk about the scene where he's got the phone on his feet
Yeah.
on the bed, and it's very obvious that she values these specimens quite a great deal,
Yes.
and, he is captured. There's the conflict between the billionaires in
Mm.
addition to the conflict between Alien and everyone trying to stay alive,
Right.
that's a new flavor, by the way, to this series. Having 2 billion trillionaire, billionaires, whatever, go at it
Yeah.
adds a different element to the whole, you know, capitalist evil theme, I think. And it's interesting. So, okay, so they bring the Prodigy recovers.
Mm.
Prodigy is his company. I don't know if I
Yeah.
said the name. They recover the specimens, they get the decapitated xenomorph, they get the eggs that they
Mhm.
stumble across, they get the face hugger, they trap the eye or not the face hugger, party, they trap the eye burster,
Mm.
bring it back to his labs, and they also bring back Wendy and Hermit, and they're trying to save Wendy's life. We see them doing surgery on
Yeah.
Hermit. Before we get to the end of episode 3, which again, this is kind of like the aftermath, a couple of interesting things happen. One is Morrow, who has escaped.
Mhm.
He runs away from Kirsch, has somehow implanted like a contact lens or
Like a
something.
talk, it was in his neck, I think. He
Or
put
yeah,
something,
or,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
sorry, it wasn't his eye. Yeah, the ability to talk to Slightly, who is
Yes.
one of the children. And this is an amazing scene, I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
He asks him, "Did you figure out my riddle? The wind
Uh,
is a machine, not a machine." Slightly is freaked out. He's a child. And Morrow says, well, you said something very wise. Everybody needs a friend. So
mhm.
he's trying to develop that relationship. Let's take a beat on Morrow here.
Yeah.
So at this point, he also mentions he has a little girl. He had a little girl who didn't like raisins in her cereal.
Mhm.
And then as I mentioned, we see him in the conversation to Utati where he says, "This is all I have left to go get these specimens. I don't want to come home," whatever. What did you make of this conversation? Let's just talk about, because I think he is maybe, I don't want to say the most interesting character, but he is a real scene stealer thus far.
He is. He's a real scene stealer, and there was a moment like when him and Timothy Oliphant, their
Ooh,
characters, like they kind of face up, and I was like,
heavyweights,
oh,
heavyweights, yes,
I was like,
love.
let's do it, let's do it, let's bring
I
it. Like
know.
we're waiting. They kind of remind me of like Omar and Brother Muzone from The Wire. Like he's just kind of waiting for that moment where they're going to square off. I mean, yeah, he's just got, there's so much intrigue. He's so good. The sweat makeup on him was incredible because he gets so sweaty.
The scene where he's uploading the data
Yeah,
using like that like brain stethoscope was really cool.
yeah,
By the way, shout out to the props department of this show.
yeah,
I think every prop has looked incredible. The aliens, the
yeah,
technology, all of it has looked really good.
yeah. I think so. I'm not. So again, I'm trying to get in because I was under the impression that all of these things, these cyborg things, right, that he maybe or may not be, looked like David Fassbender, right, from Prometheus. Like I thought that's what they all were supposed to look. So he is a different. He's something different, right? Which I think is something that's useful in here because he is sort of outside of that also. And if he did have some sort of previous life, then that would make him sort of a different technology than Wendy, like that predates
Yeah.
her. There's just so much there, and I think he's looking. He is somebody looking for humanity in a different way. Like he's questioning sort of what humanity looks like, what his role is, and he is the wild card, and I'm with you. He is going to be the person who comes out of this.
I think both him and Kirsch are the two wild cards in this
Yeah,
series. The actors are incredible. Yeah, the scene
yeah,
where they go head to head is just like, yeah, baby, like
yeah.
this is it. Timothy Olyphant so well. I don't know if you watched Justified or what your relation, but I
I
think this
tried.
is like the perfect role for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's long. He is so good at playing. I think both of these actors are
Mhm.
really good at that balance between humanity and robots.
Yeah. He's in Mandalorian. He was like in the few
Yeah,
episodes of Mandalorian, which is really good too. Yeah.
they're both like soldiers, but they're not soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're both like slightly dismissive, like rebelling against their leaders. I
Mhm.
think you can tell they both are kind of motivated by things other than their bosses. So
Yes.
I just both of them characters I thought were absolutely fantastic, and yeah, I'm very interested in seeing what happens with Morrow. So because he's still out in the wild,
Yeah.
he has his own play. He's clearly going to try to use this kid to get in and steal back the specimens or whatnot. So speaking of the specimens, episode 3 does end with we talked about this a little bit because Wendy wakes up from
Mm.
her whatever her surgery because she has a psychological connection with the xenomorph.
Yeah.
Hirsch is dissecting one of the eggs, pulling out what looks like a tadpole,
Mm.
like a baby,
Yeah.
and then they implant it in one of Hermit's lungs,
Yes.
which I'm like, are they going to put this back in him? Because I hope
Yeah.
not. It's pretty upsetting. Wendy's very upset. She gets like a horrible migraine from it,
Mhm.
and comes out, and that's how the episode ends. So, obviously they're really driving home the connection between her and the xenomorphs,
Mhm.
which is going to be, I think, kind of one of the central mysteries of the show.
Yeah.
Do you want to know? Like, is that something that you're interested in? Like, do you think because they've really hammered that
Yeah.
so far through these first 3 episodes. There is something about this girl, the main
Mhm.
character, the synth. We're gonna find out. Are you interested in that question?
I am, but I want it to pay off well. Like
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like she's a special girl with a heart of gold. Like I want it to like mean something. And actually, of all the sort of plot lines, that's the one that I'm like not as interested in. Like her connection with them
Yeah.
because it kind of
Same. That's why
yeah.
I asked because I was like, eh.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's not cliche as much as just something that we may have seen before. Like we kind of saw
Right.
this, like the original Alien with Sigourney Weaver. Like they developed this connection throughout the course of the show of the movies, where it's like they have a special connection. But I kind of want to something else.
Well, you're bringing up exactly the way I felt, which is that felt the most derivative
Yeah,
of the originals. Like,
yeah,
I think the show is introducing a lot of really interesting new questions
mm,
about, like, sentience and immortality
mm,
and what does it mean to be human?
yeah,
And, oh, this alien is still really good at populating other
Mhm.
people. Like, okay, yeah, we know. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, it and like that has obviously that created some of the best and most interesting
Right.
scenes in the first few movies, so I don't wanna dismiss it. But, like, I don't wanna watch an entire series where this main character is, like, kind of being controlled by them or has some kind of connection to them, and that's just the thrust of it. That to
Yeah.
me is not as compelling.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not. It does not do. I think because to me the heart of this thing, like when you're looking at heart, is her and her brother, right? Like
Yeah.
that felt interesting, and maybe because we get back to that because they're. I would imagine they're re-implanting this thing back into her brother, and maybe that becomes it's more about their connection because like one of the things that occurred that was striking to me about their relationship was like the role of grief
Yeah.
and just like in life in general, like when somebody you love passes, you kind of always expect for them to come back. Like you just kind of expect that
Mm.
they're just in the background. You see a butterfly or you see something that reminds you of them. It's like them talking to you or speaking to you. And in this case, it's real. It actually happens, right? He
Yeah.
hears this thing from Ice Age and he's probably goes home and says, "Oh, my sister is still here," and that means something to me. But she's actually there. And what happens when you come back in contact when that sort of thing that feels fantastic, like we know it's fantastical in our mind, but it actually happens to him. Like that to me is a extremely compelling plot and thing to talk about more so than like what's the supernatural connection between her and aliens.
I completely agree. I was actually surprised by how emotional the reunion felt after a
Yeah.
mere 1.5
Yeah.
episodes. Gun credit, I think, to the actors, right, for
Mhm.
selling it. But again, I felt like a different show would have just made him not believe it
Yeah. Yeah.
immediately,
Yeah.
but he felt eager to believe it
Yeah.
in a way that was, I think, more realistic and
Yeah.
to your
Yeah.
point,
That's
like
yeah.
more representative of real life. I do think, however, it's something that they're gonna continue exploring because it's not so simple. In some
Mm.
ways, it actually I don't know if you saw, there was like a crazy news story where a family, I believe it was one of the Parkland survivors, not
Mhm.
Sandy Hook, used artificial intelligence to recreate their son
Yes.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
testified on it.
Yeah.
And, many people had very strong feelings about this and
Yeah.
what it meant. But I think the overwhelming, yes, I feel pretty comfortable saying it was pretty divisive as a
Yeah.
thing to do. And I was actually thinking about that watching him because, he this in this scene, that little boy Hermit, he's happy,
Mhm.
but also I'm sure there's a part of him that's like, not is this real because he
Yeah.
does these tests and he establishes it her, but like, does it feel real? Does it
Yeah.
feel right? Is
Yeah.
this still my sister if it's her consciousness in a different person?
Yeah.
That's a core idea of this show. Can we actually recreate humanity this way? Do we retain that humanity when we're no longer in our corporeal self? And I think that is something that they're going to really explore.
Yeah, and because his test was a memory, right?
Yeah.
It was a memory, and as we've seen, Morrow uploads a memories into his brain. Like these are like so.
Yeah.
There's not necessarily like how do you test for that emotionally? Because also
Mhm.
she is an adult now, but kind of not, but so like how do you look at her and say that's my sister? That's what she does when it's a totally different, but like that question I think is the exploration that's worthwhile.
Yes. Are these people still themselves?
Yeah.
Can we still be ourselves if we're changed in this way? It's one that Morrow's exploring.
Mm,
It's one that the synths are exploring, the hybrids. So, I am optimistic about where this is going, in part because I think Noah Hawley, who's the creator of the show, has a really good I think he's done a really good job of striking the balance between honoring the source material
mhm.
visually
Yeah.
with some of the lore and the callbacks, but also making it about new
Mhm.
ideas. So I alluded to this at the beginning. I do want to get at it. He changes up the lore a bit. In fact,
Yeah.
the end when they show the tadpole
Mm,
or the aliens giving birth, I think that was a key moment for people because it differs from Prometheus, where we learned that it was created by humans all
mm.
along.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, actually throw that out. We're just
Yeah.
gonna. How did you feel about that? And how did you feel about him in general? Because I don't know. Did you watch Legion? We haven't talked about this.
That's the so no, I
This
didn't. I
weird
watched.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of Legion. It was very weird of a show. I was into it because of the character and all that stuff, but did not finish Legion. But I,
I didn't watch it.
yeah, didn't finish it. I got some of the storytelling and all the stuff. It was a weird show. It was hard to like sort of
That's what
get
I've
a
heard.
hold of. Yeah, yeah,
I've heard that, yeah. I watched, Fargo,
yes, yeah,
which, there's been 5 seasons.
mhm,
I thought the first 3 seasons were the best. They're all
yeah,
it's a start to beginning. It's a really good show, and I actually was thinking about that show watching this because Fargo itself is, again, based on a movie,
yeah,
and I thought in that series, he does similar things where he's like it's the Joel and Ethan Coen
mm,
movie. He shouts them out
yeah,
in ways and pays it, he is clearly honoring the tone, the vibe, the look, but each individual season of Fargo is about something completely different
yes, yeah.
and new. Like there's a whole season basically about private equity. Like
Mm.
he and I think I thought, okay, he's doing the same thing with this
Yeah.
show. Or this feels new to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It feels like a totally different. I mean, it's in the middle of all this stuff, so clear like I said, it leads into Alien in some sort of way, but there's enough space there to create its own different show. He's great. Like one of the things that we do know, Legion was like this, Fargo was like this. It's world building. Like you have these
Yeah.
guys who build worlds very quickly and bring you into these worlds, and we have new companies, we have new concepts that are built immediately. And I think to your point about like why you felt why both of us felt so emotional about the brother and sister coming back, that world had been built so fast but so
Yeah.
well that
Yeah.
that things just kind of work out.
It's really interesting. I thought, yeah, that surprised me by
Mm.
how strongly I felt in
Yeah,
that moment and how much they actually do feel like brother and sister.
yeah.
The only thing I didn't like in terms of, like, his decisions I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. I thought the heavy metal music drops were kinda lame.
So the end of episode 2, it
When
was
they played
such a
Tool,
yeah, it was such a
the
sudden
Stinkfist,
shift.
yeah.
It was like it was
Yeah.
like they jump off, and I had to like rewind it because I thought like something skipped because it just immediately turns into the heavy metal, and it reminded me of the Godzilla movie. Remember the one that had
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Diddy
yeah.
did the soundtrack
The
and all
Diddy Come With Me.
that.
My brother definitely bought that soundtrack at
Yes,
Sam Goody, like, the day it came out, yeah.
yes, I did too, thinking it was gonna be a totally different thing. But, it was, but yeah, it kinda reminded me of that. But, but what's interesting is that I was when I was watching Alien, right? The movie, like, rewatched the movie, everybody there has, like, this '80s,
Yeah.
'70s aesthetic, but it's in the future, and I was wondering if you if you're gonna go back and, like, give people a '70s
Interesting.
aesthetic
Hmm.
here because it takes place like 2 years before. So I don't know if they were like I don't know if the music was part of that or something, but yeah, the heavy metal stuff could have done without.
It felt a little bit you watched Paradise on Hulu,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
You remember
yeah.
at the end of every episode how they would just, like, smash you over the head with, like, an '80s song, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
"Alright, I get it. The
Yes.
'80s music are gonna be important in this."
Yeah.
I do like the opening song that they play
Yeah.
over the credits, and then I like how they do the credits where they just do quick flashbacks
Yeah,
to previous
yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I think, like, visually, he's a really talented I think he
Yeah.
directed the first episode, like, the visually, it looks good. I think plotting is good, the pacing is good. That's just one small thing. Casting
Yeah.
is good. Honestly, like, all the actors I think have been fantastic in this.
I have a macro question for you,
Yeah.
which is because we've been talking about how we like watch things, right? So how are you consuming this show? Like are you watching this like the breakdowns? Are you doing the Reddits? Are you just watching the show? Like where are you in terms of watching this?
I am just watching it because with sci-fi shows generally, I do not enjoy, like, detailed Reddits and
Yeah, yeah.
breakdowns because I think, those sorry if you're offended by this, but I think those fans tend to be overly
Mhm.
concerned about lore in a
Yeah.
way that bothers me
Mhm.
personally. I like all this stuff, but, like, if I'm watching Andor, which is one of my
Mm.
favorite shows of, like, the last 20 years, I don't care if there's a slip in continuity from,
Yeah.
like, some Star Wars, installment,
Yeah.
like, I just don't. But I am also enjoying the, like, once a week episode drop with
Mm.
this too, so yeah, I how about you? Like, how are you taking this in?
Just watching the show. Just watching the
Yeah.
show. Like for some of these things, like I go to New Rock Stars, which I think is really they're very positive and very kind about stuff, and so that's really good. But like for this, I basically just kind of brushed up on some of the like where we are timeline wise. I just kind of did that a little bit,
Yeah.
but otherwise, I'm just watching the show, and the show holds up as a show that you could just watch. Like I don't think you need all the lore. Like I'm sure it has allusions to a bunch of different things and
Yeah.
stuff that people can really get into if you're watching it. But for me, it's just a really cool show. Which the only thing I was tempted to was like, do you think we're getting Predator out of this? Like, do you think like we're getting the Alien
No.
vs Predator? You
Not
don't think
maybe
that?
season 2, it
Yeah,
just
you
keeps going.
like there's like we know the Predator movie has Alien has the Wheelan Corporation in the Predator movie,
Yeah.
and so I didn't like there are 5 species on this thing. You know,
Or 5 companies. Yeah,
five.
yeah, right,
Yeah,
yeah. That
we've
was
seen
weird too, because we only see 2, and it's like, why
well we've
why
seen
even do that?
oh the 2 companies. I'm talking, but the
Oh,
on
you mean the cyborgs.
the ship has 5
Oh, the different aliens, yeah.
different aliens. So like I think we're missing one, right? Like we got the I don't know. I think I was like, oh, are we getting like a little Predator nod here or something? I
Oh
was tempted to
gosh.
see if there was any Predator things going on here, but
I think he is very much setting up future seasons with
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
companies and all
yeah,
that, and, this could definitely last a long time. It seems like people like it. I read
yeah.
somewhere that, 9 million people have watched the
Oh
first
wow.
episode or whatever, so this is a big hit. Somebody did ask me, to your point, like, "Do you have to watch the Aliens?" I probably should have
Mm.
said this at the beginning. Aliens movies. I don't think you do at
No,
all. I
no.
think the only thing that really, having seen them, watching the Aliens movies and then watching this just makes you skeptical of everyone.
Yeah,
I think, like, if there's something that the movie franchise instills in you, is just this deep-seated belief that all corporations are, like, really evil in
yeah,
this
yeah,
world,
yeah,
and so, nobody is acting in good faith. I don't believe anybody. I don't
yeah,
believe the crash was on accident. I don't
yeah.
believe they had no involvement. I don't believe the billionaires are, everybody is a suspect. I think that's kind of the vibe, or no, pardon me, the lesson of the franchise that you might not know if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I agree, and it adds some. I mean, it just adds a little bit of intrigue to the movie. Like I would say probably you could probably watch this season and then watch Alien and enjoy it just as much, knowing what you know from this season and not having seen all of it. But it could because it answers kind of a question of like why do you send these like what coal miners to go and get this alien and take it back? You kind of like there's the greed and all of that. That's always part of it. And yeah, I think you can just watch this without the other ones, but it might be more fun to watch Alien after the end of the season.
The biggest difference is just that, like, they both are fronted by a woman.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
I saw a funny tweet that was like, "You expect me to watch this woke, like a woman with short hair?" It was a joke, but
uh,
Sigourney Weaver's character is like the prototypical bad
yeah,
action hero female, and this character is more complicated because
mm,
she's naive,
yeah,
but she's not an idiot.
right, yeah,
It's a very delicate balance. I think the actress is doing a good job early on, just kind of playing with ideas of what that means,
mm,
and yeah, but that is the other big similarity, I think, between the 2.
yeah. That's like the that last Predator movie everybody got mad at because they were like, "How is this woman going to take out a predator?"
Yeah.
And it was like,
Oh, yeah, what was that called? It was actually pretty good.
that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that happened. They're like, "How is this movie going to take?" And then I saw Uncharted afterwards. Spider-Man plays Uncharted, and he's like a bartender, and then he just goes out and does all the Uncharted things and saves the world. I'm like, anyway, it's just
Oh, it's believable,
misogyny,
and yeah, right.
whatever.
Okay, cool. So I am really loving this. I'm excited to keep talking about it. I'm excited for all the various mysteries we laid out to unfold, and we will continue recapping it. We are also gonna, we gotta talk about the Love Island reunion next week. It's kinda like Barbenheimer,
Yes,
Love Alien, Alien Island.
yes.
What prediction? What do you think will be more upsetting, the Love Island reunion or the next time we see the alien explode a human head?
I do know, and we were talking about backstories and prequels. We are going to see the full Huda heart rate challenge
Oh,
apparently
yeah.
at the reunion. So we're talking about filling in the gaps. We're talking about prequels. We're doing all this stuff as part
Having
of it.
done Love Island, I understand that there are people on, like, Alien Reddit and whatever who are like, "This is not what happened in the initial series." But, like, that fan base is child's play compared
Yes,
to Love
yes,
Island internet. Like, science fiction can't hold a candle to the
yes.
amount of anger, the overreading, the lying, the fake news, all of
Yeah.
it from
The Easter eggs of Love Island far outweigh the Easter eggs of any
Way more
Alien franchise.
toxic. Also, really quick, overtime, are you watching you actually mentioned something before the show, maybe you could bring up here that you
Oh,
would
I am
recommend or
reading Absolute Batman. It is the best thing out of all of the pop culture things. The shows, anything I read, Absolute Batman is the best thing going right now. I literally just finished it before we started. It's a comic book. It's DC is like reimagining all these superheroes from scratch. They're doing Superman, they're doing Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Batman, but Absolute Batman is so good. It's basically Bruce Wayne is not rich. His dad was killed in basically a mass shooting, like a school shooting, and he hates billionaires and the people who are running Gotham. And the Joker is a mysterious billionaire. We have not seen him yet. And I just read the issue, like they're on part 4 of Bane, and holy smokes, it is so good. The reimagining of Bane is incredible. Absolute Batman is just like it's so good. It's better. It's the best thing going right now.
it is really hard to imagine consuming superhero content right now where a billionaire is the good guy.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yes,
obviously,
yeah.
again, we're just talking about a show that is about billionaires being evil. So, like, that is very of the moment, what you're describing. It sounds interesting.
That's one of the issues, like, with the DC things,
Yeah.
is like some of the heroes have become, they're hard to relate to, right? I mean, that's always been sort of the
Yeah.
thing about DC is that Marvel center their folks in real people with jobs and stuff like that, and Superman is an alien who comes with all these powers, Batman's a billionaire, Wonder Woman's a goddess, and it is sort of like Superman, yes, has the absolute Superman is still really good. He has a Superman origin, but he basically fights for, like, workers' unions in around the world, and Batman is just this dude who is driven by a pure hatred of the folks who are like pulling the strings in Gotham City. And he is a psychopath. He just like beats the hell out of people. But Bane is the best villain characterization I have read in a very, very long time. If I've never read a comic book, still, I absolutely encourage you to read Absolute Batman.
I will say that, yeah, speaking the anti-billionaire sentiment, we recap Superman if folks want to
Yeah.
go check that out, which is, Lex Luthor is very much like a toxic, like a
Mm.
evil tech billionaire. We talked about the party and Alien, the Mary Antoinette. I was a
Yeah.
little on the nose to make it like
A
a
little
French
bit.
Revolution
Yeah.
thing,
Yes.
whatever. I'm one episode behind, but I am enjoying the Jason Momoa
Oh,
Hawaii
yeah, yeah,
epic on
yeah.
Apple, Chief of War. It's interesting. It's not what I expected. It is
Mm.
kind of similar to Shogun
Yeah.
in feel. It moves a lot slower than I
Okay.
thought, which I don't mind necessarily because I feel like I'm learning a lot from it. It is about the history of Hawaii
Mm.
and the conflict between different islands, and then ultimately the conflict between them and the colonialist
Mm.
invaders. And much of the show is in Hawaiian,
Yeah.
which is interesting. But it's very beautiful. It looks very expensive.
Mm.
I feel pretty similar to it how I felt about Shogun,
Yeah.
where it's very immersive and yeah, it's just not like anything I've seen other than Shogun, I guess. So I would recommend it. It's good. Also, let's be honest, you see his butt the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, they should call it Cheeks of War because holy smokes, that man's butt is out, just out.
All the yams, lots of yams, like a Meg Thee Stallion video, but,
Immersive in a different way. Okay, that's it for now. We will be back next week to continue discussing Alien, to talk about the Love Island reunion. As always, if you are listening to this in audio, check it out on youtube.com/@meetatimes. If you're listening to it on YouTube, go leave a review on iTunes or Spotify, or I don't know if Spotify takes reviews, but go subscribe to the audio.
review everywhere.
And
Tell
let
your
us know
friends.
if there's other shows or things that you want us to watch. I'm always paying attention to that.
Oh, also, and hit me up because I'm watching Love is Blind UK, and I'm locked in. So hit me up.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not doing that because people have been asking, but
People have
I'm
been
watching
asking
it,
me, yeah.
and so hop in the DMs or the mentions that we
How
can talk
far
about
into it is it?
They just started up. They just did their second batch, so they're just started episode 5.
Just
It's
started
good.
episode
It's
5.
good.
Is it really
It's
good?
good. I just love UK so much better. Season 1 is a canonical Love is Blind
Oh,
season, and
man.
it's something that you have to watch. Season 2 is it's getting good. I'm feeling the vibe of season 2.
All right. Well, Love is Blind US returns in October, so we'll be
Yeah.
on for that.
Yes, indeed.
All right.